Hello healers and health seekers, it's me, Ichoda, healing with medical medium information for 4 years now, healing from mast cell activation disorder, dysautonomia POTS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypothyroid, chronic fatigue syndrome, systemic exertion intolerance disorder, SIBO, migraines, and a whole host of other symptoms and conditions. If you want to know more about that and my healing, links are in the description box below. But today it's time for What's Up Wednesday, and that is where I come here and I talk to you about what's been going on in my healing journey. So let's get into that. So I think it's been a couple of weeks since I talked about what's been happening with me. And the last time I talked to you, I was having issues with brain fog and was having issues with a bit of a shingles flare. Now, I've been thinking a lot this week about how I have a new normal, and it changes all the time in this healing journey. Like, what's normal for me? What am I able to do? What am I able to not do? And stuff like that. And when I think back to how sick I was when I was my most chronically ill and living on Mattress Island, as Anthony William calls it, and I couldn't function and I couldn't make my own food or even really get up and shower more than once a week because of how it would take me out. I could barely move. It was excruciating pain to stand up. I couldn't stand up for more than 5 minutes. I had to use a wheelchair to leave my house. I was allergic to everything. That was my normal then. Like, just not being functional at all was my normal. Now my normal is being functional, and anything less than that is like, oh, what? So this shingles flare I've been having, it's minor. It's not interfering with my daily activity. It doesn't really interfere with anything I do. I just am being a little more careful. I think it came on, honestly, I think I had an injury. And I think it came on, so I have a tilted pelvis. And because of that tilted pelvis, I cannot sit on hard surfaces. I mean, I've had this for, I think it's since the birth of my first son. So for like 20 years. Anyway, so I've had a tilted pelvis for a really long time. And one of the things that it messes with stuff. Like, I can't ride a normal bicycle because it hurts too much to sit on a bike seat. And for a while I was like, oh, maybe it's because I'm heavy. And then I realized, no, it's actually not because I'm heavy. It's because of my freaking pelvis that makes everything hurt. And so I can't sit on a normal bike seat. I can't sit on hard benches or hard chairs or hard surfaces. Like, it has to be soft underneath me, or I will be in a lot of pain. And it actually used to, honestly, it's actually improved, because it used to be so bad that I couldn't ever sit on anything hard, even for like a minute, because it would just hurt. And it's gotten better to the point, it's not fully healed for sure, but it's gotten better to the point where I can now sit on a bench for a little while or a hard chair and I'll be okay. However, not too long. And we were cleaning out the basement, and there's like a big turn of the century Mad Men style desk in the basement, and then it's got this solid wood chair that goes with it, office chair. And I was going through the desk, so I sat in the chair, and I didn't even think anything of it, because that's my new normal. Like, I didn't even think about it, and I sat down in the chair and I was going through the desk, and it didn't hurt while I was sitting in the chair, because before it would have hurt so bad while it, like the second I sat down, it would have been like, nope, and I couldn't sit on concrete benches or park benches or anything like that. But this time I sat in the chair, and I'm sitting there, and I sat there for a while, like a good long while I went through this desk, like an hour or so. And also was working on with bare feet on a concrete floor. Now, I don't know which of those things it was. I actually think it was probably a combination, but I think those two things together kind of caused an injury that flared up my shingles. So this whole left side of me, not the whole left side, but from my shoulder down to just below, like above my knee, it's in a shingles flare. So I've got pain here, and it's not bad pain. Like I said, it's not interfering with my life. I can still do the things I need to do. It's just sore. It's just a little bit of pain. It doesn't interfere with my sleep. It doesn't interfere with activities. It's fine. It just hurts a little. And then same with, I have like sciatic pain in my leg. Now that interferes a little bit, kind of makes it hard to walk. I mean, I can walk, but I'm not going on walks, is what I'm saying. I can walk around the house. I can get around the house fine. It's not interfering with doing stuff in the house. It's just like I haven't been going on walks around the neighborhood and stuff like that because it's a little painful. So it's been getting better, and I did make sure I became more diligent. Once I realized what was happening, I was like, oh yeah, and I kind of haven't been taking my supplements. So I made sure that I take all my supplements every day, and I've upped some of them. So one of the things I haven't been doing, which I'm like, why? I know this from the medical medium information that when we have an injury, it's best to apply heat in the morning and cold at night. Why I have not been doing this, I cannot tell you. I should go put heat on this right after I make this video. It's still morning. It's still morning. I've had my celery juice, but it's still morning. That's the best way to heal from an injury, in addition to upping supplements, is doing heat in the morning and cold at night. So I need to get on that because I think it would help this go faster. And it has been healing. I am noticing a decrease in the flare, and that's a good thing. The brain fog is not as bad. I wouldn't say it's fully clear, because when it's fully clear, I just have more energy and more motivation. So right now, I'm struggling a little bit with motivation. There are all kinds of baby hawks flying around here, and other baby birds and juvenile birds. And so when my eyes keep darting around, it's because I can see the reflection in the glass, because the glass of the windows right here is kind of mirrored, and the forest behind me, they're flying around, and the way I have the camera angled, you cannot see them, and I'm sorry. But if I knew where they were gonna fly, I'd kind of try to point it there, but you never know. And so it's just really exciting to see them right out here, the babies. Good sign of a good ecosystem to have hawks and owls. So that's really good. Okay. Where was I? I don't know. Baby birds. The brain fog. Okay. Hey, it is improving. The brain fog is improving. But when I'm fully out of brain fog, I know, because I'm like more motivated to do things. I have a little more energy, and I have been struggling a little bit with motivation lately. But also, this heat has been brutal. Like this morning, it's actually pretty nice out here, but even in the mornings, it's been so humid and so oppressively hot, and the temperatures have been in the high 90s, which it's, with the humidity, forget it. It's so crazy hot. And so I usually come out in the morning to do my garden, to water or whatever it needs. It's been raining lately, So there's that. There's like that rise in barometric pressure, and I don't know, all of it is just kind of, I'm just like, it's kind of affected me. Yeah. And then there was that Mercury retrograde. I don't even know if it's over, but it feels like it is. Kind of feels like we're out of the, it doesn't feel quite so insane as it did before. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of any other symptoms. Well, so you know how I've talked about my ankle having edema around it, or it kind of looks like there's a donut around my ankle, on my right ankle? That edema has been going down slowly. The swelling in my feet has been going down slowly. I think it would be quicker if I could work my lymphatic system better, if I could, if I was rebounding or walking more regularly. I've been very sedentary. No, that's not even true. I haven't. But my physical activity has been in the garden. A lot of bending over. I think that actually affected the flare as well. Just a lot of bending over and activating my, what are they, quads or whatever? Like, I don't know. No, the quads are the front, aren't they? What's the back? I don't know. Anyway, if you know, tell me in the comments, please, because I don't remember. What's the back? My back upper leg muscles, those. Anyway, yeah, so a lot of bending over to pick things and to pull weeds, and I need to do more weeding, but I haven't wanted to bend over in a while. This is why I don't make videos outside. So many cars. Okay, so many no muffler cars. Hey, that is a victory check for my POTS, right? I mean, my POTS is healed. I haven't had POTS symptoms, and that's freaking fantastic. And that's been for a long time, following medical medium information. But that is a huge victory check, being able to bend over and weed and bend over and pick and stuff like that. Because with POTS, I couldn't bend over at all. I would literally, if I needed something from anywhere low or needed to do something bent over, I would have to have my husband or my son do it for me, because I could not. If I bent over, it's like I'd feel like I was going to pass out. And it's so the new normal that I can just do that. I can just bend over and weed for like an hour and it's fine. Except my back will be a little sore and my leg muscles will be a little sore. But that is because it's not something I do a lot. And so it's new muscles that I'm working, and that's just normal. Like for real normal. Regular people normal. That's exciting, honestly, to think about, like, oh, this is just normal for me now. I can just do things. I don't have to think about like, oh, if I bend over, I'm going to feel like I'm going to faint, or, you know, I'll get super dizzy and I'll have a head rush and stuff like that. I don't have to think about that anymore. It's pretty amazing. Another thing I've been able to do, this is another kind of unrelated victory check, but because I used to have all this bursitis in my hips and stuff like that, also shingles, but because I used to have all this bursitis in my hips, and then even with just my weight and stuff, I couldn't ever lay on my side. It was too painful. It was so painful because all the fibromyalgia pain and all the bursitis in my hips. Why do I never mention that I've healed fibromyalgia in the beginning of my video? Fibromyalgia, I've healed from fibromyalgia. But all that pain in my body, I could not lay on my side. It was painful. I couldn't breathe. It was just, I couldn't do it. And I lay on my side all the time now. I don't sleep on my side like all night long, like I used to do 30 years ago. But what I do sometimes is I'll actually take a nap. And my naps are like an hour, hour and a half, I don't know. I can take a nap on my side, on either side, and sleep that way, breathing and not in pain and comfortable. And I mean, that's just pretty friggin' cool. That's like another, like, hey, that's healed. And I don't even think about it now. I'm like, yeah, I can nap on my side. What? Like, it's just no big deal. And when you haven't been able to do these things, like, it's such a huge deal to be able to do them. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, you know, people who have never had that kind of pain, of course, take that for granted. I did for so many years. But when you've had that kind of pain and it's like, oh, nothing, don't let anything touch me. Birds. Don't let anything touch me because it hurts too much. It's just such a welcome, incredible relief. But again, I have been having a little bit of a shingles flare, which means there's a little bit of pain, but it's not like it was. Not like it was. So that's pretty cool. It's cool to be having a flare and not actually have it really affect my daily activity. Okay, what have I been eating? Same as last time. My days are pretty. I've just been. I don't want to cook, and I don't want to have to do anything too fancy. So we live with our in-laws right now, and I mean my in-laws, and it's my husband's parents, and we are in their basement, and their basement has a wet bar, which we have turned into the kitchen. So, but it's not a big space. It's not even bigger than our RV kitchen was. So I don't really like spending a lot of time in that space because we also don't have a stove. We cook everything in the Instant Pot in the toaster oven, and we also will use their oven upstairs sometimes, but I don't go upstairs in their kitchen to cook. It feels, to me, I kind of like to keep the spaces separate, and I don't want to just be going up there all the time and invading their space because it's tricky. Like, we're living in their house, and it's a lot. It's a lot, you know, it's a whole family and animals, and well, the animals go upstairs all the time. They don't care. They're like, no, it's just another space to explore. And sometimes there's food that they can steal, so, you know, they love it. And my husband goes up a lot, but my son and I, we kind of stay to the basement, except like for when we're visiting specifically. So yeah, my kitchen's very limited. I don't like to spend a lot of time in there. I don't feel very creative in that small, cramped space of a kitchen. And so I just like to make it quick. Like, whatever I can do in there kind of quickly and not spend a ton of time. I can't wait till I have a full kitchen again, because I do like being in a kitchen and like being creative in the kitchen and making a lot of things, but not this kitchen. I just don't enjoy it. So anyway, so my food has been every day, always, forever and ever. It's gonna be 32 ounces of lemon water, followed by 30 minutes later 32 ounces of celery juice, followed by 30 minutes later heavy metal detox smoothie. That's always my morning. Like, it's not gonna vary ever. And then after that, I will sometimes have watermelon or cantaloupe or honeydew, whatever kind of melon's got going on, or blended papaya or papaya. And the watermelon will either be whole or blended. It doesn't matter. And then I will have a smoothie, and that is usually always the same, actually. My smoothie is 2 bananas, 2 giant handfuls of spinach, like crammed into the blender, and then frozen mangoes, I don't know how much, some, just to fill to the top of the blender, and 2 dates. And I will sometimes put a little bit of water in to blend it up because the frozen mangoes. And that's my smoothie. Like, that's the smoothie I make all the time. It doesn't vary. I'm boring. But I like it. And then I will have some kind of potatoes for dinner. Sometimes I'll cut them up into rounds. Sometimes I will dip them in something, like I'll blend up a ketchup or do some kind of sauce, or sometimes I just dip them in honey. Sometimes I just eat them plain. Sometimes I will do the medical medium bruschetta recipe, where it's basil, tomatoes, honey, garlic. That's really good. I'll do that recipe with the potatoes. Sometimes I'll make the potato salad with peas. That is so good. I posted it on my Instagram. So if you want that recipe, I'll link to that Instagram post is what I'll do. I should post it on my blog too. And then I'll have lemon balm tea for in the night. And that's mostly what I eat. I guess sometimes I'll snack on fruit, but that's kind of my day. That's like what I eat pretty much every single day. It's just super boring, but it's really satisfying to me. I have found, especially lately, I just want simple foods. Like I don't need a lot of recipes, and my recipes are really simple and easy to make, and they don't take very long. I'm just like, nah. Now remember, I'm also preparing food for my son, and sometimes my husband kind of fends for himself too. But my son for sure, and even his foods lately have been pretty simple. Like we do the medical medium sticky cauliflower recipe. He loves that. Or like fries and dip. Sometimes I'll make, and I'll eat this, samosa filling. That recipe is on my blog. I did make a couple days ago, I made from the Cleanse to Heal book, I made medical mediums, zucchini and sweet potato stew, but I made it with butternut squash instead of sweet potato because we're out of sweet potatoes. It was delicious. And last night I made from the Cleanse to Heal book again, the medical medium portobello stew. Oh, that was really good. It's so interesting to me, okay, because I eat totally fat-free, I eat totally salt-free. For a couple months now it's been salt-free, and I am just so used to it. It doesn't, like, I really just taste the flavors of the foods, and I don't feel like it needs salt. If I feel like it needs something, I'll add sweet to it. So I'll add maple syrup or honey, and that does it. Like, that replaces any salt that I would need. It's wild. I'm kind of amazed. I'm like, I never thought that I would be able to eat cooked food without salt. And here I am, and I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. It's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, so that's what I've been eating. And, oh, okay, well, here's another sort of symptom thing that I've been noticing lately, but this isn't from anything I'm doing now. This is from something that happened a year ago, and it is hair loss. Now, our hair falling out and, coming out more than usual happens because of adrenal stress, like 7-8 months ago to a year ago. And if you remember, at this time last year, we were stuck in our RV and didn't know where we were going to live. And I mean, we were looking for a house, but we were not finding a house. And everything was super stressful because the RV was really stressful. And we were in a RV park that was not, I mean, it was like function only. There was nothing pleasant about it. And there was just chemical exposures all the time, and it was hot and horrible and unpleasant, and it was like 8 months of that level of stress, like 8 months of solid, and I did everything I could to support my adrenals and to help myself and to support myself, and that's good that I did that. And still I noticed, but see, here's the thing, because I noticed that happening and I was like, oh, well, I know what that's from. So it doesn't worry me and it doesn't freak me out because there's just no fear around it. And there's no fear from me like, oh my gosh, is this going to keep happening? Because I know it's not. I know it's going to be temporary, but a lot more hair coming out in the brush. It's interesting that I'm only mentioning it now because I've noticed that it's slowing down. So it's actually a lot less hair than it was, but there was a lot of hair coming out in the brush. And just like I'd run my fingers through my hair and could just pull, strands out. And not pull, but like I'd run my fingers through my hair and there'd be hair in my hand. Not a bunch, but enough for me to be like, yeah, this isn't how it usually is. But I know it's like, okay, it's because of the stress from the RV. Support adrenals. you know, silica, stuff like that. It's fine. But it just goes to show. But I love that I have the medical medium information, because stuff like that doesn't freak me out. I know what's happening. It's not scary. It's like, okay, well, that, of course that was going to happen. You know, I knew it then. I was like, oh, in about a year, or 8 months to a year, my hair is going to be, and sure enough. So hopefully it'll thicken up and it'll grow back and it'll all be fine. I went through a traumatic event that had a couple of parts to it. So I will say about it that I am bouncing back, and honestly it's because of the medical medium information and all the healing I've done and all the tools I have and the support around me. After I went through that event, I was feeling rather disconnected, and I thought, I need to connect. So I reached out to a new person, and another friend of mine who I've been following on Instagram like since the beginning of my healing journey. She was doing a class, and I just put myself in it. I almost didn't care about the topic, although the topic is something that interests me very much. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this now, because I feel like this is gonna help me reconnect with people and feel more connected again to the community. And I was totally right. Like the first night of the class, I was like, yeah, this was totally the right choice. I felt so good being in the class, and, you know, seeing her face and seeing other faces that I know from the community, be like, oh, this is good. And it's just kind of like bringing me back into myself, and it just speaks to that all storms will pass. Nothing stays the same. Everything changes. It will always pass. It will always pass. It will always pass. And I even thought about it as I was going through it. I thought, okay, this is going to be temporary. I will get through this. I will get through this. It'll be okay. And I am okay. I'm okay. You know, it's just incredible how resilient we really are when we give our bodies the right tools, and our spirit and our soul and our body and everything just becomes so resilient. It's like we just bounce back so much faster from things, so much easier. We have the tools. It doesn't create new fear and anxiety, because we know we can come back. We know it's gonna pass. We're gonna get through it. It's temporary. Did you hear? I know you heard it. I know you heard the hawk. Oh, I can see it in the reflection. I wish you could see this. I'm so sorry. But I don't know. It's like, how do I know where to point the camera? Anyway. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to look up hawk symbolism after this, because I've been getting hawks all day today. And actually, I know what it is. Transformation, and you're on the right path is what it is. That's what hawks are. Yeah. On that note, thank you for watching, my healers and health seekers. I love you so crazy much. Let me know how you're doing this week. Let me know how your healing journey is going. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, give a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button over there, and you can ding the bell next to it if you want to be notified when I post new videos. I wish you so many blessings on your continued healing journey. Remember to always stay curious. Remember, this too shall pass. I love you, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye-bye.